Hello, my name is Kata Mathis, and I'll be presenting on the growing reliance upon social media as a news source. This is the complex problem I chose to explore over the course of the semester. This presentation discusses the growing issue for digital citizens, which is their newfound reliance upon social media as a means of news consumption, and the issues this creates for social media users and how to address those matters. So how do we know social media source news is a growing trend? First, ask yourself to identify what news sources you use. Is social media one of them? If social media isn't, how often do you think you are subjected to news on these platforms while just simply scrolling? We can identify the growing influence social media has as a news source by reviewing trustworthy studies to draw a reasonable conclusion. Let's begin locally by referencing an article from the Miami Student. Kerbin writes, I decided to poll my friends about how they get their news. The question asked was, what platform do you rely on for your news? The answer choices were social media, television, newspaper, radio, and none. Out of 11 people who took the poll, 72.7% voted that their main source of information for news is their social media feeds. The other 27.3% voted that their understanding of news comes from television, newspaper, and radio. Although we must keep in mind certain pieces of data may be swayed based on the demographic chosen to interview and the size of the sample. In order to negate these factors, we can cross-reference her findings with a more accredited source. The Pew Research Center reports digital sources have become an important part of Americans' news diets, with social media playing a crucial role, particularly for young adults. Overall, just over half of the U.S. adults, 54%, say that at least sometimes get their news from social media, up slightly compared with the last few years. Why is this considered a problem? Social media entices users to stay on the platform by giving them post suggestions. These suggestions are curated by what kinds of posts the user has interacted with in the past. These algorithms, designed to please users, often subject their audience to echo chambers. Users are surrounded by similar posts and opinions, which isolate them from challenging ideas and counterpoints. This experience contributes to misinformation by not allowing the provision of new and opposing viewpoints. This has a negative impact on our society since low information voters are likely to withdraw from politics, vulnerable to making irrational vote choices, and easily swung by irrelevant stimuli, emotional appeals, and populist rhetoric in the political environment. This is also considered a problem because we are in the era of clickbait. The algorithm promotes posts that are popular, and these popular pieces of media are often jarring, comedic, or hyperbolized. In a sense, the digital age promotes sensationalized news pieces. These sensationalized pieces can mislead audience with their eye-catching and quick-to-judgment titles. Clicks allow for profit, so even if a piece doesn't utilize the traditional method of clickbait, it can utilize the same greedy philosophy in a much more malicious manner, such as simply making it up. The act of presenting false news negatively impacts the public's perception of global issues, local issues, social issues, organizations, corporations, and individuals. Fake news, and unlike fake news in the text of image format, fake news on short video platforms shows unique characteristics and is increasingly indistinguishable from real news, posing new challenges to develop effective detectors. Now we must ask the question, what are plausible solutions? Innovation is inevitable. We should strive to reach a solution that meets concerns without disregarding technological advancements. We must work with technology rather than against it. In order to pursue this lofty goal, we must encourage a multifaceted approach. So what are these plausible solutions? Two of these plausible solutions are encouraging personal responsibility among social media users and requiring corporations to fact-check posts. The first identifiable plausible solution is encouraging personal responsibility. Many sources recommend promoting digital responsibility and encouraging citizens to seek out information individually. TED Ed's YouTube video, How to Choose Your News, insists, "Today, we are more free than ever from old media gatekeepers who used to control the flood of information. But with freedom comes responsibility, the responsibility to curate our own experience and ensure that this flow does not become a flood, leaving us less informed than before we took the plunge." TED Ed's video recommends being a good digital citizen by seeking out information yourself, fact-checking your sources, making an effort to not spread misinformation, following individual reporters on social media, reviewing the findings of multiple news outlets, and watching out for anonymous reports or ambiguous wording. While this video offers useful suggestions, we must also be mindful that it was published in 2014, making it a tad outdated since it is the year 2024. In recent years, we have had issues with AI images and deepfakes. So how do we identify such media? The Wall Street Journal's YouTube video, OpenAI Sora, How to Spot AI-Generated Videos, urges viewers to watch for bad physics and inconsistencies to identify AI videos. The second identifiable plausible solution is that corporations should be required to fact-check posts. Many social media platforms are already implementing this strategy as a means to protect their corporation while also actively discouraging the spread of misinformation. However, researchers have found the solution to be faulty. MIT News states in their online article, The Catch to Putting Warning Labels on Fake News, tagging some stories as false makes readers more willing to believe other stories and share them with friends, even if those additional untagged stories also turn out to be false. Fact-checkers can't keep up with every post in a timely manner. Due to not all misinformation on a given platform being flagged, unflagged misinformation holds more power because of the implied truth effect. Instead, researchers propose placing verified tags on posts proven to be true is actually a better solution and eliminates the problem of implied truth. Conclusion. Online users are exposed to only a handful of news-related posts a day, but the determination of which posts users are exposed to is determined by what posts are receiving likes. The algorithm promotes posts that are popular, and these popular pieces of media are often jarring, comedic, or hyperbolized. In a sense, the digital age promotes sensationalized news pieces. Misinformation is increasingly prevalent online thanks to social media algorithms, which promote sensationalized news, users' inclusion in echo chambers, AI, and fake news. I was aware of this issue prior, but only through my research have I grown to understand its magnitude and the scale at which social media is used as a news source. It is important to combat misinformation by being personally informed as a digital citizen. The provision of not misinformation warnings on questionable social media posts, but verification on true posts. The reliance upon social media as a news source for Americans is growing, meaning it is more important than ever to address these flaws.